I think maybe this is the third one of these that I've done. I'm kind of losing track. And yeah, still not very comfortable with this, but we're just doing what we can do. I guess we're making the best of it. Anyway, so we are in this little clip talking about Pennsylvania. Your textbook's actually pretty good on this. Kind of gives you some background for the Quakers, for William Penn. And then I gave you Mary Dyer is actually kind of our link between like Massachusetts and the Puritans, and then Pennsylvania and the Quakers. So she's not really connected with Pennsylvania, Mary Dyer, but she gives you that background for what it meant to be a Quaker. And since Pennsylvania is going to be a like refuge for Quakers, um, she fits. And I like her story, which I think you'll agree with me when you look over there. I gave you a little video about the statue, and then I gave you like a biography of her. You can like really skim like probably the first like 3/4 of that biography. I just really wanted you to get the last uh, probably about 5, 6 paragraphs at the end where it tells what happens to her when she goes to Boston. Because again, we've seen Boston from a different perspective, so that overlap is kind of nice. And then I also gave you a website about Benjamin Lay. He's much later, but also reflects, again, kind of Quaker beliefs in terms of the equality of peoples. So Mary Dyer and Benjamin Lay don't necessarily have the connection to the formation of Pennsylvania, but they tell us what it was like to be a Quaker, which is why you've got them there. And then I gave you some uh, places you could ask questions on the discussion board with both of those links too, if you wanted to. So the main takeaway I wanted you to have for Pennsylvania is the 2 documents that you have from William Penn, and I gave you discussion boards for each of those. The first is his Constitution, where he writes about people having power and kind of think about that and what that means. And then the second document is his letter to the Delaware. And again, he writes with a sense of superiority about Christian God, but he sees the Delaware as his friend. And so there's key parts of that letter um, that you're looking at that you can kind of see that. And again, we can do that in the discussion board too. Um, but here's something to think about. If you aren't so busy waging wars with Native Americans, you can actually spend a lot of money on other things. And so Pennsylvania, of the 13 colonies, ultimately will be one of the richest economically, um, which is saying a lot compared when you think about other colonies and their use of enslaved labor. Um, Pennsylvania will be one of the richest economically, and in large part that's because they are having to redirect their resources to wage war. So again, that was kind of my main takeaway there in terms of this idea of kind of the equality of all peoples with Quaker ideas. Now again, that's loosely because even Penn uh, did in fact own slaves. So that's why I wanted to put Benjamin Lay there to kind of balance out that. And then again, you've got Mary Dyer to give us the kind of introduction to Quakerism, and then you've got 2 discussion boards about those primary documents. But ultimately, think about what that can mean for an economy if you're not fighting a war. All right, I'm not sure what my sign off is on these yet. Still working on that, but alrighty. With that, thanks.